What if the life you crave is already vibrating toward you, waiting for one simple shift? What if science and spirit are not enemies but two languages describing the same miraculous map? Today I'll reveal how tiny quantum choices ripple into destiny-sized results. This isn't wishful thinking, it's evidence, practice, and a story you can live. If you've ever felt blocked from your twin flame, your purpose, or your deepest calling, stay. By the end of this video you'll have a clear, practical method to change your energy and your outcome. For countless seekers in the United States and around the world, the search for love, purpose, and alignment often feels like walking through fog. People wake up, scroll through social feeds, compare their highlights to someone else's carefully curated life, and feel a quiet ache. Why not me? Why not now? This ache becomes louder when the topic is soul connection, especially the concept of a twin flame. The idea that one person reflects your soul and completes you is intoxicating, and when that relationship is missing or broken, the psychic pain can be crushing. But the pain isn't limited to relationships. It shows up as stalled careers, creative blocks, low-grade anxiety, and a sense that the universe is teasing you with glimpses of what could be. The modern paradox is that we have more access to information than any generation in history, yet we feel more disconnected from our inner guidance than ever. There is a deep mismatch between the stories we tell ourselves and the patterns our bodies hold. Over time, these patterns harden. Childhood wounds, cultural expectations, and accidental betrayals teach the nervous system to expect scarcity. The quantum question is not whether you deserve, it's whether your energy is broadcasting the frequency of lack. Many spiritual teachers simplify the problem: raise your vibration and what you want will appear. And yet, for thousands of people, that advice feels vague at best and guilty at worst, because trying to just be positive rarely fixes practical obstacles. At the same time, some skeptics dismiss manifestation as pseudoscience, pointing to confirmation bias and survivorship stories. Both critiques are useful. They expose the two extremes, empty platitudes on one side and cynical dismissal on the other. What's missing in the mainstream conversation is a bridge, a humane, grounded framework that explains how subtle inner states influence measurable outcomes, and offers repeatable practices that actually shift those states. In this section we'll name the real problems, so we can move beyond blame and confusion. The first problem is misalignment. People act from fear but expect abundance. The second is confusion. Terminology like vibration or quantum gets misused until it loses meaning. The third problem is isolation. Many try to heal alone without guidance, accountability, or a method. These three problems create a trap. You want change, you try random techniques, nothing consistent happens, and you blame yourself. That cycle reinforces the very frequency you want to change. Listen closely. The problem is not that miracles are impossible. The problem is that few people have a reliable map that connects inner work to outer results. Without that map, hope becomes a brittle thing. This confusion creates stress that locks personality into familiar patterns. Communities that normalize open conversation about energy reduce shame and accelerate healing. The good news is the problem is understandable and addressable with repeatable steps. Naming the problem clearly gives you power to choose new experiments instead of repeating old pain. In the last 2 decades, a quiet revolution has taken place at the intersection of physics and consciousness studies. Scientists studying quantum systems discovered that observation, information, and relationship play a role in how particles behave. In parallel, spiritual traditions have always insisted that consciousness matters. When these two streams are held together, a new discovery emerges. Intention interacts with probability, and choices influence not just psychology but the architecture of experience. One of the clearest insights is that measurement in quantum physics is not passive. The apparatus you use, the questions you ask, and the context you create change what is observed. Translated into human terms, this suggests our inner field, our habits of attention and meaning, shapes what is possible. That is the discovery at the heart of quantum manifestation. Practical researchers and modern mystics began to test this idea with structured practices. They found patterns. People who cultivate precise intention, emotional clarity, and consistent actions report a higher rate of meaningful events, relationships reopening, opportunities aligning, synchronicities increasing. Importantly, these results are not magic one-offs but reproducible shifts when practices are sustained.
Emotional stories make this discovery human.
Consider Maya, a 34-year-old teacher from Austin who felt ghosted by her twin flame. She tried every manifestation hack on the internet and felt worse. Then she shifted. Instead of visualizing only outcomes, she practiced clear boundary setting, wrote a letter she never sent, and created a daily ritual of small energetic check-ins. Within months, not only did her twin flame reappear with different energy, but she also stepped into a leadership role at work because she was now showing up more whole. Her life didn't become perfect, it became proportionate to her new signal. Another story, Jason, a military veteran in Ohio, struggled with PTSD and the belief that he was unworthy of deep love. Through a combination of somatic breathwork, intentional experiments in trust, and tracking small probabilities, he began to notice relational openings. The key discovery for Jason was that healing the nervous system recalibrated his probability field. He became a different signal in others' perceptual field. The discovery, then, is twofold. First, inner states change outer probability. Second, the change is most reliable when it combines intention, embodied practice, and iterative feedback. This is where science and spirit stop arguing and start cooperating. We can operationalize the discovery into 3 pillars: clarity of intention, what are you actually asking the universe? Emotional calibration, do your feelings match your intention? And incremental action, are you taking tiny, consistent steps? When these pillars align, the field responds. Researchers emphasize replication and measurement, and modern practitioners borrow that discipline. These discoveries do not replace therapy or medical care, they complement those supports. The bridge between lab and temple is built through careful, repeated experiments and honest reporting. When we balance curiosity with caution, we protect ourselves and accelerate real learning. Here is a practical step-by-step method that blends pragmatic neuroscience, quantum insight, and spiritual practice. It is designed to be repeatable and measurable. Step 1. Define a precise intention. Avoid vague wishes. Instead of "I want love," try "I want a respectful, committed relationship with someone who shares my values and communicates honestly." Write this down in present tense. Make it as specific as honesty allows. Exercise. Take 5 minutes now. Close your eyes, breathe, and name the intention in a single sentence. Speak it aloud. Then write it on paper. Keep it somewhere visible. Step 2. Emotional calibration. Your feelings must match the frequency of the thing you want. If your body carries scarcity or fear, your field will signal that scarcity. Use 2 practices: somatic resourcing and emotional granularity. Somatic resourcing means anchoring into sensations of safety, feet on the floor, breath steady, shoulders softened. Emotional granularity means naming your feeling precisely. "I feel anxious and hopeful" is more useful than "I feel bad." Exercise. For 7 days. Journal 1 emotional micro-observation twice daily. Rate it 1 to 10 and note what triggered it. This trains the brain to notice mismatch and repair it. Step 3. Micro-actions. Quantum possibilities unfold through small probabilities. Break big desires into daily micro-actions that increment chance by tiny amounts. If you want a soulful romantic reconnection, a micro-action might be sending a neutral, compassionate text or joining one social event that week. Exercise. Create a 30-day micro-action plan with 1 tiny step per day. Make steps predictable and trackable. Step 4. Feedback loop. Measure, reflect, and adjust. Keep a simple log of events, feelings, and results. Celebrate micro-wins and analyze what increased alignment. Exercise. Every Sunday, review the week. What shifted? What lesson arrived? Adjust the next week's micro-actions accordingly. Step 5. Ethical attunement. Set clear boundaries and consent. Manifestation is not a tool to manipulate other people's agency. Instead, focus on aligning your field so that you become a clearer receiver and magnet for what is aligned with your highest good. Practice. Add the phrase "for the highest good of all concerned" after your intention. Feel the ethical frame in your body. Consistency matters more than intensity. Small practices maintained create cumulative change. Combine journaling with physical movement to anchor cognitive shifts into the body. If you struggle to start, pair a micro-action with an existing habit, like brushing your teeth. Use timers and simple trackers to remove friction and make the practice automatic. Before we move to transformation stories, one final practical technique: the signal reset. When you notice resistance, rumination, obsessive checking, or compulsive comparison, pause. Take 3 extended breaths. Place your hand over your heart, and repeat your intention silently once. Then take one small unrelated action to ground. Make tea, step outside, or water a plant. This resets the nervous system and recalibrates your broadcast. When people apply the method consistently, transformation shows up in layers. The first layer is internal, a steadying of the nervous system, clarity in decision-making, and a gentle increase in confidence. This is not dramatic fireworks. It is the slow, reliable work of becoming a signal that other aligned things can resonate with. The second layer is relational. Friends, lovers, and colleagues begin to respond differently because you occupy a different field. The third layer is circumstantial. Opportunities start to align that once seemed improbable. Consider the transformation story of Lena, a software engineer in Seattle who had given up on romantic partnership after a painful split. She followed the method, she clarified intention, started a daily 10-minute embodiment practice, and scheduled 1 micro-action per week, small social acts that felt doable. Within months, the quality of her interactions shifted. People who had seemed unavailable before now expressed genuine curiosity. But the most meaningful shift was internal. Lena stopped seeking validation and instead sourced herself. Her twin flame experience changed from a craving to a catalyzing mirror for growth. Another transformation involved Malik, an entrepreneur whose business stalled during a recession. He combined clear intention around meaningful clients with practical microactions, revising his pitch, sending personalized notes to past clients, and practicing brief grounding rituals before calls. Over time, his conversion rate rose not because of luck, but because his presence in meetings changed. Clients reported feeling seen, which led to referrals and a steady return of work. Transformation is rarely instant because layers of conditioning require patience. The quantum metaphor helps. Think of possibilities as a field of likelihoods. Your practices move the needle from one probability distribution to another. Over time, the wave function narrows around more aligned outcomes. You can't force collapse without participation, but you can learn how to be the observer who coherently aligns the outcome. Practical milestones to watch for: increased synchronicities, meaningful coincidences, clearer boundaries that feel natural rather than defensive, small opportunities appearing like breadcrumbs, and a gradual reduction in panic when things are uncertain. These milestones are data. Treat them kindly and empirically. An important emotional component is resilience. Not every week will bring fireworks. The method trains you to stay steady through weeks of nothing dramatic, while still making probabilistic shifts. This steady practice multiplies your sensitivity to realignment and reduces the tendency to abandon the work after a temporary drought. Transformation often includes grief as old identities fall away. Allow space for that process. Celebrate incremental courage, because bravery is not the absence of fear but acting in spite of it. Invite trusted allies to witness your changes. Social validation supports new identity formation. Be patient with others. Their timelines may differ from yours even as yours accelerates. Finally, celebrate ethically. Recognize when something aligns and be grateful without clinging. Gratitude clarifies the receiver, but beware of turning gratitude into bargaining. The transformation is not about perfect outcomes. It's about becoming a clearer participant in the flow of life. Now that you have the problem, the discovery, the method, and a sense of transformation, what is the broader mission? The mission is not only personal liberation, it is to shift culture from scarcity-based reactivity to generative alignment. Imagine communities where people practice energetic literacy, where emotional regulation is taught alongside math, where small probability experiments are valued as much as big leaps. That cultural vision changes not just romantic pairings but workplaces, schools, and leadership patterns. For those drawn to twin flame language, the mission has special urgency. Twin flame experiences can catalyze deep healing and rapid acceleration, but without ethical tools they can also create trauma. Your mission is to bring integrity, to pursue soul-deep connection with boundaries, mutual consent, and embodied maturity. Here are 5 ways you can contribute to that mission today. First, practice transparency. Tell your close friends about the method you're using. Second, teach one micro-practice. Share the signal reset or the 30-day micro-action plan with someone who might benefit. Third, model ethical attunement. When pursuing relationships, prioritize consent and mutual flourishing. Fourth, gather a small community, a group of 3 to 5 people who meet weekly to try these experiments and give feedback. Fifth, document your experiments. Keep notes and share what worked and what didn't. These actions scale. Tiny communities practicing energetic literacy create ripple effects. People notice changes in behavior, not just language. That emboldens others to explore and to make safer, smarter choices. On a personal level, your mission can also be more specific. Maybe you commit to healing one childhood wound, or to learning a somatic practice, or to writing a letter you never sent. Small missions compound. They turn into meaningful life direction when iterated across months and years. Ethically, remember that liberation is not zero-sum. Someone else's flourishing doesn't diminish yours. That principle dissolves jealousy, possessiveness, and scarcity narratives that often poison twin flame dynamics. Your mission, therefore, is to cultivate abundance in your inner field so you can resource others rather than drain them. Consider volunteering to lead a short study group or a workshop to spread energetic literacy. Document your experiments publicly to help others learn from your successes and failures. Teachability and humility are essential when scaling these tools to communities. Make space for disagreement and dialogue. Culture change is messy and iterative. Finally, the global mission. If more people showed up as aligned signals, less reactive, more responsible, the social fabric would change. Relationships would be less exploitative, leadership would be more compassionate, and communities would prioritize healing. You don't have to single-handedly transform the world. You can transform your corner, and that is enough. 2 practical takeaways you can implement immediately: the 3-minute signal reset to use daily, and the 30-day micro-action tracker. Use them for 1 month and notice what changes. If this resonated, like the video, subscribe for weekly practicable teachings blending science and spirit, and comment below 1 micro-action you will commit to today. Share this video with one friend who needs to hear that quantum manifestation can be ethical, evidence-informed, and deeply healing. Join the small community linked in the description to get the 30-day tracker and guided audio for your signal reset. Let's do the work together and change the field.